might flip the book so we can see where you three go, and just, yeah, I'm very curious to see how this is going to work. Who wants to go first? Volunteers.
I can go.
Okay, so we've got 3 books. So would you like the first one, second, or third?
The first.
First. And I'll mix up the order before you get a turn. So you still won't know. So this is Breaking Free. So we only use the back of this book. So the back of it talks about your soul and talks about your core essence. So that's sort of part of your authenticity, something that's very natural to you. You generally notice it missing. So for me, it's like joy. So if I don't have to be, walking around laughing all day, but if joy starts to be depleted, I notice it. So that's what I'm referring to when I'm referring to core essences. So you got to pick a number between 189 and 215.
I'll take 211.
211. All right. So we have 5 paragraphs to pick from.
Okay. Number 3.
So that comes under the heading of trust.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm going to read you out a little paragraph. Trust is unconditional love for naturally accepting your own significance within your present moment and a result of valuing truth, which can be difficult when you have become jaded or scornful of life. Trust in others develop, as does trust in yourself. However, when you become cynical, you operate from trying to prove you are right about what or whom you distrust, including yourself. Cynicism leaves you frustrated by your own and others' unconsciousness, which may lead to you being protective of your own victim mentality or desire for control. This can mean you become disenchanted with life and focus on the indifference of those you interact with or observe. So what resonates with you there, or what are your observations? Where does it take you?
It takes me back to my coming into this world. And I resonate with many of the things, if not all of them. I can find all of them in parts of my biography. And it takes me back to the place, and I have just not so many years ago actually realized how tremendously that time from 0 days old to first couple of years actually really has impacted my whole character building, because I was brought into a family system where I felt on the one hand really loved and wanted, and on the other hand suppressed, unwanted, maybe even hated, and degraded. And so because I had this conflict with my brother, and it is really interesting because that on the one hand had like a very trusting lineage for me, but on the other a really distrusting and insecure and unsafe pathway for my life. And many of these experiences from that time, where I was always like, okay, I trust this person, but I'm really afraid of this person, and when am I safe, and can I actually also trust in me, because I was told, what all the things negatively I am and what I can't do. So it's a lifelong path to find out how to heal that. And yeah, so there was a lot of resonating in that, and I can see how when I was like in adolescence, there was a great crisis in all of that falling down on me, right? Depression, eating disorder, parents breaking up, and the whole drama that can happen in an adolescent life. And that as well brought me onto that path of healing. So I think how you summarize this trust passage, or this trust package, is a really, really well thought and felt summary of that. And what else do you want to know?
You told us a lot.
Yeah, I did. I feel like the box of the Pandora.
No, it's interesting, because one of the things we forget as we get older is that our childhood has had such a big impact on us, and as a child we're very aware of all the all the undercurrents that, I can say, hello, how are you? Happy to see you. And then I can be thinking, God, get away from me, leave me alone. And the child will pick up that your words are not matching your energy. So it becomes quite confusing and conflicting. And considering the majority of us adults are struggling to be honest with ourselves, that we're not taking in accountability for all that sort of that is impacting. So, the old saying that our childhood takes a lifetime to resolve is probably fairly true.
Exactly. So, and it opens like doors, like working through that, through these wounds opens doors of connection and creating wisdoms for like connecting to a very unique crowd of people who experience a similar wound. And so in that we can then like generate growth with each other, mirroring each other in the path and everything that also that perspective taught us. Earlier I had this beautiful like a metaphor that actually we need two things to change. We need, first of all, our instrument, talking in like a scientific setup now, we need our instrument, our perception and awareness to broaden the perception of what is happening. For example, practically from victim state to a wholesome, holistic spectrum of self-awareness where all of that is part, the creator and the victim, and that we can choose which direction we go. And also enough situations to prove ourselves, like the data that we collect, to prove ourselves something is changing while I'm taking these steps. And this is how community comes in so beautifully, especially when it is about trust, for example. What we often love to do in our mentoring programs is that we not only work one-on-one, but that we have this heroic tribe, this tribe of people in the academy who are all mirroring each other. And that creates such more beautiful surface to play around and more data to work with and integrate in oneself to actually learn, wow, I'm growing, this is improving, my wounds are healing. And that's really beautiful.
Yeah, it is, and it's an important part of it. I always say to clients, like, make sure you celebrate the wins and make sure you celebrate your awareness that something did change or you responded, even if it's just slightly different. You responded different and you didn't automatically move back into that victim mentality or whatever their issue is, whatever is their prominent issue. That's brilliant. So Camille, would you like the same book or do you want me to throw it in and randomly see where we end up? Options.
Let's randomly get a new book.
Randomly, righto. Right. Well, where we're in, so they're mixed up, so you've got 3 books to pick from.
The third one, please.
It's the same book. That's random. So the same thing. So we're going to find out a little bit about your soul and your soul journey. So 189 to 215. Can I have a number that resonates with you?
203.
Okay, and you have, you've got 4 paragraphs to pick from.
Number 2.
Number 2. And this comes under the heading integrity. Integrity enables you to be aware of the importance of your soul and to feel and respond from the energy of your soul's consciousness. When you lovingly support your own soul, you feel the free-flowing energy within you, which is undamaged and not divided by any deception. Integrity is to adhere to and trust your original intention to experience the truth of your reality and respond to life from truthful honesty. Integrity is maintaining your awareness of your present moment, your options, and the value of truth. It is to make decisions with commitment and fortitude that support trusting your own feelings and your awareness of truth. Big paragraph.
I had to think like, oh, that's like the hero feeling inside, right? Like if you feel you are a hero for your life, and also means that you are connected with what, like the energy and soul that is within you. And there was something in the last sentence. Could you read? I think it's the last part.
It is to make decisions with commitment and fortitude that support trusting your own feelings and your awareness of truth.
This making decision with commitment is, I think, also something where a lot of people struggle with, because everyone is connected with their soul and with their body. It's rather like, do they hear it, and do they listening to it as well? And making a decision is so difficult for a lot of people, because there are these two voices. There's the rational mind that has been raised by society and what is right and what is wrong. And then there's your gut feeling, or your soul, who has maybe a totally different perspective and knowledge on how to make a decision in regards to the subject. And I truly believe the decision that you take from your gut, from your heart, will be the right decision from you. It's important to bring in maybe some rational ideas, but really unfolding your path you can do when you listen to what is there in your gut feeling. And sometimes it just feels or seems unrational for the outside world, and also maybe for your own brain. You feel like, well, that's crazy. Why would I do that now? Everything tells me this is unsecure. It won't bring me money. It won't bring me, I don't know, a house. But my feeling says I should go now that way.
Those decisions are hard sometimes when you've got all your conditioning coming at you, and it's like, there's an integrity in this. I know I can feel it, but I've got to trust myself to go into, the unknown, or into that shaky ground of this could go either way. But I think when you really start trusting, like you said, when you really start trusting that, it all seems to fall into place for you. So that sense of security comes fairly quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And sometimes you also like really then see it as well with your rational mind when some time has kind of passed, and then you look back and then oh yeah, that was the right moment. And
hindsight's a beautiful thing. There's lots of clarity. So what would you like to do, Sascha? Would you like me to put the book back, or would you like to just go for the book?
Well, put the book back, please. And,
okay.
I saw, because I know them, that the ladies used muscle tests to determine which book. So I will do the same. It's one of our secret tricks. We just do it with self.
Okay, all right. So I've randomly put them together. So there's 3 books. What would you like?
Awesome. It's number 2 for me. It's the same book?
Same book.
Yay! The book of the day.
The book of the day. All right. So
you already know the pages, Sascha. Which one do you want?
Well, test your memory. 189 to 215.
199, please.
199. Okay. So you have 4 paragraphs to pick from.
Number 4, please.
Okay. So number 4 comes under the heading of hope. Hope is unconditional love for your own courage and optimism, which can be difficult when you feel demoralized or believe you are helpless or damaged. Your soul's consciousness is never damaged. Just your awareness is corrupted when you feel impaired. When you lose awareness of the truth of your soul and feel overwhelmed by your experience of life, despair can reside where hope used to dwell. Hope inspires and creates prospects. When you lose hope, instead of having a panoramic view of yourself and your potential, you congest your perception of yourself with your past, fears, hurts, and disappointments. This can cause you to be depleted of opportunities and can leave you wallowing in despair and your own indifference towards yourself. So I don't know where you sit with that one, but it's...
Yeah, I love it actually. And I was thinking that hope is one of these intrinsic qualities of the universe and of our soul, that kind of everything is hope, everything is love, everything is possibility. And we just created these layers of mud around it, so we can't access it. And we just yesterday I talked about it with Camilla, that we see it in some of our clients, and we certainly see it in ourselves as well, that we very often have these stories. And stories are a beautiful thing, but stories are also very often these layers, these membranes over our own soul and our own potential that we sometimes cannot penetrate. And under that is just shining hopefulness, and everything is possible. But we created this story that we are helpless, for example, in one aspect, or that we are wounded, or that we are not capable of doing something. And we certainly have some clients where we can even feel that it's so visible that there is still this story, which is the only hindrance between them and this absolute greatness that they are thriving for. It's just this layer of a story. And I certainly was carrying a story of, unfairness is one of my wounds. I very often felt treated unfair, not so much by other people, kind of by the universe itself.
All right.
Yeah, it's a tricky wound to have.
Yeah. Go for the big one.
and well, the two of them, they know that it sometimes comes out again. And I've been an entrepreneur all of my life, and I've been in so many different projects, and things go wrong. And if you experienced something in that lines already in your early childhood, then it's easy to get triggered by it, and then it grows into a layer of story that tells you, well, things rarely go perfect. Most of the time, someone comes along, the universe comes along and says, hey, no, Sascha, you're not ready. You're not allowed this success now. And so this becomes something that, and I know that now, this is in the end the blockage. The blockage is not the universe. It's the story that I created as,
It's fascinating when you break. Well, I mean, you would do it when you're working with people. Is that the narrative that we've got going is very strong. You know, like I often speak of not good enough energy, and I you know, like I haven't met a person that hasn't got some form of that, including myself. And I'm like you. Every now and then I trip myself up, and I can easily go down into that, that not good enough stuff. And then you got to remind yourself, well, hang on, what are you doing? You're just running a story. And we look for evidence too. We look for evidence to prove our story, even when we know it's really just, self-pity and a bit of, disillusionment and despair because we're not getting what we want. But we will look for evidence. So it is fascinating, the stories that people run in their head. And it's sad we don't recognize ourselves more as the true soul of who we are and operate from there. So I love that you guys are helping people find their path and their soul purpose. I'd say they have a lot of fun and some very big moments with you guys. So
Thank you. And we also have big moments with them, I'm sure.
Yeah, I always think you teach what you need to learn. That's how it all works. It all sort of mixes in together. So, Well, thank you for being on the podcast, and we'll put a link so everyone can find you if they're interested. And I've enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you. Me too, a lot.
Thank you so much, Lorraine.
Yes,
no worries.
So thank you for these great questions.